I love how we always start these podcasts laughing. I don't know how it happens, but welcome to the To Be Alive podcast, everybody. This is Saints in Pairs. This is actually episode 10. I went back and checked. Last week was episode 9. So, dude, 10 episodes in. It's been, 2.5 months since we did this, about maybe a little bit longer with a couple of breaks. But quick reflection before we dive in.
Can we have a shout out? Can we have a shout out for Akaash's hair right now?
Bro,
that shit's so fly right now, bro.
That is the work of my barber back home.
Dude,
where I just got
point, bro. You're on point. This is like this is dangerous, ladies. I need you to take the camera off. You need to clean your eyes. All right, I'm back.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Big shout out to you, Sean. I know you're not listening to this, but if you all need a barber in Orange County, California, hit me up. All right. So I want to do a quick reflection, man, before we jump in. It's been 10 episodes. This is a big number for me. I mean, I was going to say for a lot of people, but for me, it is. Can I put you on the spot?
Always.
All right. Just quick, however long you need. I would love to hear how has this experience been for you? How has this podcast so far been for you? Anything you can share, take away from it?
Bro, I still take the podcast on my bed with no desk, with the same headphones you gave me. That is the same, but I am different. It's just like, that's so great, bro. It's so great. I still got my little light stand here. This little lamp that I bought for our first episode. Dude, the rapid mental transformations on what I believe and how I show up that has happened since we started, not just as a byproduct of us having conversations and becoming aware of things, and also just life happening with you, is just ridiculous. 10 weeks is only 2.5 months. It's crazy. And I'm still happy we're showing up consistently. There's a commitment here. I'm not really great at I realized this week I'm not really great at doing things consistently, especially every day. Every week I think maybe it might be my sweet spot. But it's been a mirror. This is a mirror.
Yeah. I feel the exact same.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Tell me what you're feeling.
No, I reflect all that back to you, literally. This has been a mirror. I've went back and watched a couple of the earlier episodes, and the thing I noticed the most is I was at the time I'm too in my head, all this stuff, I'm not in my heart. Bro, I'm fucking in my heart. Even when I didn't think I'm in my heart.
Bro, you're hitting the nail on the head.
Something clicked where I was like, I'm just being hard on myself for literally no reason. And that's in addition to this being a place to just speak what's true for us every week, which is beautiful in its own way. As this man just chugs an entire bottle of water.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it just feels like this is an artifact, a living artifact of our lives. And 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, when we have families and all these things, we get to look back at these episodes and just hit play and hear about how much we wanted a family and all these things, and literally, and our kids can watch this stuff. Dude, I don't know. I just have a lot of love and respect.
Our wives are gonna have a watch party night, and we're not even gonna know about it. And I'm gonna come over to your place, and she's gonna be putting on the TV and laughing together, and we're gonna be like, "Bro, what the heck?" Because the most third person deja vu trip moment.
I love it.
So good.
Yeah, it's been special. It's been special. And there's a couple updates I want to share live with you on this and the direction I want to go.
Amazing.
So, in keeping with tradition, let's do a quick grounding exercise. I just wanted to jump into those quick reflections. But episode 10, baby.
Maybe. To Be Alive podcast. Did you change the spelling on that's showing up on the top right here? Because it looks so clean.
I changed the logo, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Shout out logo guy.
Okay. So I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. And listeners, please, if you're able to join us, this is a grounding exercise just to come into your body, settle in, be with yourself for the next minute. I'll give a quick guidance and then I'll call us back. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your feet on the floor, on your bed, wherever they are. Just notice that sensation of touch. And just scan your body from the toes up to the head. Let's do it backwards today. All right, come on back. That smile tells me everything.
Bro, you smiling like a dog, bro. May or may not have been thinking about a girl. Keep going.
Ooh. I think that's where we're going to start.
Straight into the tea, baby. What's poppin'? Bro, dude, you leave for 1 week and I don't know what happened, bro. I was just like, the amount of people that I met was insane.
So for context for the listeners, I was back home in LA, home. It's still home in my mind for some reason. It's only been 4 months. But anyway, I was back home for the last week. I just got back yesterday. I've not seen this man since before I left. So apparently a lot has happened in the last week. So I'm going to ask you open-endedly. Tell me about the last week. Like, what's up?
Bro, I went out with, so I had a lot of like, man, there's just a lot of the stuff that can come up. I went out. I went to like a social event last week when you left with the guy that you've met before. He's like gotta be the most. He's got to be the best cold approacher I have ever met. I did not know this about this guy. Hands down, respect. We go to a couple events. This guy literally leaves with like 10 phone numbers, and I'm like, this is too much. Like, this is excess. Like, chill out. He's introducing me to people because he's talking to their friends. They're talking to me. Like, I'm sitting down on this like on this little bench, and he starts talking. He like literally like there's these people walking by. He like taps a girl's arm, starts saying something funny. Her friend comes and sits right in front of me. We start having this conversation. She's Hispanic. She's like flirting with me like crazy, and I'm like overstimulated right now. And she ends up being a little bit older than so then I like leave this interaction. We end up meeting other people, and this happens for like 2 days. Like I go out with him on Wednesday, and then I go out with him again on a Friday, and then I met this girl who was Russian, who was for a bachelorette party, and she was super sweet. And I was like, bro, I want to take this girl out. She just seems so nice. And then she's like, oh, but I live in New York. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I just ended up dancing from half the night. Just so much fun. But then I got this sense after I woke up the next morning of like, I was like, there's something about our approaches or what's going on in my mind that's still not letting me enjoy this that much. And I think none of them is like objectively wrong, but I still have this like guilt about like, is these really people worthwhile? Or there's like a judgment going on. And there's also like a part of me that's like, this isn't even my style. Like, I want it to be more like him. And then I like kept noticing that I was like, that's not even like I can't approach people when I do have a lot of fun, but there's something about this setting. And so I had like moments of reflection afterwards. And then I ended up going to like a really wholesome kind of dating event on Monday. Stayed afterwards and talked to one of these girls for like an hour. Just had this super heartfelt conversation. We've known each other from before, but there was just something about her nature that by the end of the convo, we're like endearingly looking at each other, and I have this resonance in my heart of like, I'm pretty sure we would do really well together. Like, she just gives me this sense of like purity, and like that she would do everything in her power to like know who I am and like try to take care of my needs. And she's also someone that I respect. And I was like, wow. haven't felt that in a while. But I just like knew this about her because I know her accolades and the things that she does and runs and how she carries herself, and I just didn't. She's yeah. There's a part of me. I wonder if we'll. There's only one caveat I have right now, and I don't want to name it on the pod yet, just for privacy protections for her. And so we'll see where that goes. And then I went to another event on Tuesday, and I was just electric that day. It was one of those days where like the social juices are just flowing through me. And I walk into this event, I see a couple people, these two really cute girls. One of them's distracted, so I just beeline it to the other one. I don't know what I'm on this. At this point, like I'm in a zone. I pull up, I like tap her arm very gently, and I like kind of whisper to her. I was like, "All right, what are we talking about?" Because she's in a group with a couple people. We end up getting pulled away one on one. She's like their other group's talking, and I'm just going guns a blazing. Like she's from New Zealand, and I'm being way too Hispanic with my outward flirting, and it was like it was honestly really fun, and I also think it overwhelmed her. Um, but that was like part one of the week, and then it's been more of like settling in on these experiences, what I felt about it, and how I kind of want to navigate next. Um, so yeah, that's like the fun part. That's like the tea. And then there was like a underneath the surface what was been going on in my heart. And I want to kind of put a pause here, so I'll let you speak. But this other layer was so many things coming up about like shame and guilt that I had no idea were there. And my therapist and I started talking about, and I've just been noticing there's like, yeah, I've just been noticing it a lot. And it wasn't because of these experiences this week. I think maybe they like some of them pulled it up, but there's a trend, and so that's part one.
Well, my question I was going to ask is, okay, you shared the happenings, like what's been happening, but of course, you know me. I want to know at least a layer, if not two, maybe three layers beneath. If you're willing, if you feel like you have enough of an understanding, or if you just want to explore it with us together on on this pod, I'd love to hear like what is going on, like underneath, like the shame and guilt you mentioned. Um, I'm also curious, like what has been alive for you with this kind of change with how you're approaching women, literally how you're approaching women. Yeah, like if you could name what that is.
I think we talked about it. I don't know if it was after the last pod, but you heard me starting to insinuate like I kind of want to have the skill of approaching anyone and making it so engaging or fun or just so comfortable enough in my own skin that I can do it whenever. And so it's to switch this mindset of like, oh my gosh, like how do you find a wife or how do you find connection to like, what if you had the skills to the point where it's like, I don't have enough time to keep up with these connections. Like I have so much abundance, and it's not just of like lukewarm types of connections. It's like of deep, rich, thoughtful, self-developed, like pure soulful humans and hearts, both male and female, that you're connecting with to the point where you're like, I don't want new people in my life. Like, could that be possible? Is where my heart was going of like dream bigger, dream bigger. And I was like, I think I'm pretty comfortable in certain settings, but sometimes I'm really not comfortable approaching somebody, and I didn't know exactly why. And so I went out with this guy as kind of like a self exploration, and it was like a master class. Like I'm watching this guy just like weave like through. Um, but I did notice a lot of like comparison. Um, that was a little bit of a thief of joy, but there was also a bit of an emptiness to the way I think he navigated it, where a lot of it was so entertaining for these people. Maybe it's the setting plus the way he navigates it. You get 10 numbers and two people respond the next day. So it's like there's a lot of superficiality and fun. And I don't really like to build my life that way. I don't want even like the first interactions, sure, it can have levels of really exciting and fun, but I want some taste before we stop our interaction, or even if I send a voice note after I get her number, which is what I did with the one of the girls. I was like, hey, I know I was just being kind of ridiculous, but I want you to know that I actually really want to get to know you. And like leave it leave a taste of like there's purity here. Um, so and I think the first 2 nights last weekend was not that. Like it was me trying to like learn how to be superficial and like it's just so against my nature. So that's part one. But the shame and guilt thing is from before. I'm still exploring exactly where it comes from. I think it was from a relationship and I felt shame about wanting to be physically close and emotionally close and to be affirmed in different ways because I felt a little bit starved from it. And because it wasn't naturally her desire, it turned into this, oh, I just need to tell myself that I don't need that. And I like turned those parts of myself inward. It's something I'll explore in therapy. But this week with friends, I felt so much lighter to be saying things that I was feeling like, hey, I was really lonely this morning. Um, or like, I kind of feel kind of burnt out from work and I kind of just want to feel like a kid again. And we just have this unstructured time and talk about life. And it just led to these conversations where I'm just being so authentic. Because I think you're like, dude, you're always authentic. But I'm like, there's layers to me that I don't feel like I even show and I have shame about for some reason. Um, and this week I felt like I was taking off even that mini mask or that mini like, I don't want to say this, I feel uncomfortable. Um, yeah,
Can I ask you about those masks? Like, what is it exactly? What's not coming through?
I think it has something to do with this idea of like needs. Like for example, I had like a 3 hour convo with my neighbor yesterday. I just called him and I wanted to hang out with somebody because I had been working from my apartment all day and I was kind of like, all right, I'm going crazy. I need to get out of here. So, but I want to go hang out with someone I was close to. So I'm like, dude, can I just bring food over and hang out? He's like, yeah, amazing. He was already like accepting me in this. So I go over, we start talking, we get really deep. And then I'm like, I really want him to come play tennis and pickleball with me because my plans got canceled and I wanted someone to go hang out with, but he didn't need to. And I was kind of like, he's never said yes to coming. He always says no. I was like, I'm just gonna ask. And then he's like, he just got laid off, and something about what I was saying, he was like, let's do it. And I was like, yes. So I was a little scared for a second, and then it was like this yes. And then afterwards, we had this. We were having a great time, and he was about to drop me off, and it was like, I kind of want to get food and keep hanging out. But I'm like, we've been hanging out for like at least 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, kind of excess, Like I'm used to always the whole like, all right, dude, like chill. And I'm fine them being like, nah, I need some time alone. But there's still like this. There was a need that I had, and I don't like this wording, and I know you have also a relationship with the wording as well. And so like, I've been doing a lot of like sitting with it. I asked my therapist about it, asking people, what does it mean to have a need? And I've been really like reframing this. And so I want to talk about that more clearly after. And I was like, basically, I wanted to go get a meal with somebody. Um, and it didn't have to be him. I didn't end up saying anything to him. So I didn't. I was just like, no, that's too much. I'm not going to ask anymore. And sure enough, I hit up another friend. He invites me to dinner. And as I'm leaving my apartment to go to dinner with the other friend, I found my neighbor coming back. He was about to, he,
Of course, of course.
dude, like what? And I'm telling you, this guy has never, I knock on his apartment all the time. He has never knocked on my apartment. He has never initiated plans ever. And there was something in the intimacy of our conversations yesterday that I think, and I literally told him, I was like, I desire to have a romantic partner where all of our walls come down. We see exactly who we are. We say the things that we are uncomfortable saying because we feel safe enough. And like, I think he was feeling it. So he comes over and he's trying to like, he's like, yo, you good? And I was like, yeah, I'm about to go to dinner. And he's like, oh, I was about to ask you if you wanted to go to dinner, but I guess we've been hanging out for 6 hours. And like, he was feeling guilty about, or like a little bit like an egg on his face. And I just warmed my heart because I was like, Wow. Wasn't just me. Um, that's like a baby version of, I think, a representation of like what I can feel sometimes. But I think something in the romantic department, I think it comes out more. And I haven't been exposed enough in relationships recently where I have a big example to give you. Um, but yeah, maybe even one of them is like, I've been thinking about this one girl that I had gone on a date with, and there's stuff I've been wanting to say, and I was like, those aren't supposed to be said. And it's like I feel a bit ashamed of like, no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it could be strategic, and sometimes you can just be like, a part of my heart just wants to say something, and that's why isn't that okay?
Yeah.
So, super long-winded answer.
I love it. I love it. You're experimenting. I love how much you experiment, man. Like, like, like you get these wins and movements within you, and then you just go out in the world and you're like, all right, what is this? What's going on here? Let's just go test it out and see what it is, and then it just comes together, right?
Literally, literally.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for sharing all that.
Mhm. Um, Thank you for letting me just go in on it. So now you know a little bit about my heart this week. So, dude, you've been back home. The few times I checked in with you, you were like, things are moving. There's so many things to do. At first, you were like, you know, LA is kind of crazy. That was our last pod. So we're stimulating. There's these little pockets. But then it was like, it seemed like there was a shift of there was things you wanted to go to or either you had to go to. And I want to know. And then you even had like I don't know if he's a guru, some guy that you went to go listen to a talk. And it just, I could hear the emotion. I wanted to apologize because I didn't respond with the level of heart that you sent in that voice note. And I remember where I was emotionally when you were sending it, and I just felt crummy that I wasn't synced up with you. And so there was so much heart in what you had felt when you were listening to that speaker, and you related to me, and there was even like a little bit of emotion coming through. And so I also want to know like what went on there, and why did it hit you so hard, and what does that mean for you?
I love it, man. I don't even feel like the same person I was last Friday. Like and the running joke in this pod is we literally say that every week.
Every
But
week. So cracked. I love
but
it.
I legit, man, I can't explain to you. I literally actually cannot explain to you what is shifting within me. Um, and first of all, never. There's no need to apologize if you're not synced up with me about something. Like, bro, come on. Like, what kind of?
I know, I know.
That's not how
But
that
it's
works.
more because I wanted to show love and I didn't have it in that moment.
I felt your love regardless, so don't worry. Um, let me speak on that moment, and then I'll kind of zoom out and share more about the overall trip because I'm still like in a state of. I just got back yesterday, and today was my first day, kind of getting back into the swing of my old routine and everything. So it's all processing still, and I'm still kind of trying to understand. Um, that particular day was Sunday last week. I decided before that I want to go to this monastery that I used to go to. Dude, it's a crazy story. So there's a monastery in Orange County that I was going to before I moved, and it's like in a beautiful location. And I was like, okay, it'll be nice to just go there. They have talks every Sunday at 11 a.m. Like there's a spiritual topic they'll talk about. You go into this beautiful, holy kind of vibe um, room, you could say, but it's like a pretty big room. And one of the swamis, which is just like a monastic in the Advaita Vedanta tradition, when the swamis comes and he starts to like speak, like that's the format. So long story short, I initially was going to go to that, and then something told me to just check online to see if they've listed the names of the different talks that they're doing. And there's another monastery in Hollywood, which is like an hour north of Orange County. So I'm like, like, do I want to drive that far? I look at the online listing, and the topic was know yourself, know your path. And I'm like, bruh. Like for the listeners, like this has been an internal dilemma I've had for pretty much the entirety of my spiritual path of like, am I on the right path? What is this path? where am I going? Even though in some sense I know where I'm going. I was talking to Elle recently today. Shout out Elle if you're listening to this.
Hey.
She's one of the two I work for in this little startup. It's so funny calling it a startup because
I know.
it's not even a startup. Um, she was like, "You are somebody who's in a self-driving Tesla. You're in the passenger seat, and you're constantly checking Google Maps to make sure you're going the right way."
Bro, if that isn't the most gas analogy, yo,
Like when she said that, I was like, "Facts." So just to give you more understanding of me, right? So I'm like, of course, I need to go to this talk. And even though it's a bit of an inconvenience, I had plans with a friend after for lunch, so I had to tell him, "Hey, I'm going to be an hour late because I want to go to this thing."
Fire.
I go to this thing, and first of all, I find a parking spot literally next to the entrance, which never happens at this particular temple. I walk into the temple. I walk into the room where the Swami's giving the talk, and I shit you not, you can. I think you know what I'm talking about when I say this, but you can see in someone's eyes if they're connected to God, if they're like tapped into truth. And I could just tell literally instantly. I looked at him. I'm like, this guy he knows it. He knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. And all of a sudden, everything, like all the worries I had about being late to my friend's lunch and all this stuff fades away. It dissolves away. And I'm like in that moment, in that particular room with a bunch of people around me. And we're here listening to the Swami speak. And he talks about the head and moving to the heart and literally all this stuff that like I've talked about on this podcast. And I'm like, holy shit, there's someone out there in the world that is speaking the same language as me, who has the signature of someone who knows what's going on. He knows. And I have never, like, I've been trying to find a teacher, a guru, whatever you want to call it, for a while. And I don't know if he's going to be my teacher or not, but after that talk, I was so moved that like I sent Andreas a voice note saying, "Man, like I don't know what just happened. My voice was trembling. I was like borderline crying, in tears because I was so shaken by how beautiful and like perfect that moment was. All the synchronicities that allowed me to be at that particular location at that time with that guy on the one weekend I decided to go to California. Like, come on, you know."
Yeah. It's too good. It's too good.
So it was just like these kinds of things that are happening in some way every day for me. Like there's like confirmation from something bigger than me that's like you are on the right path, and it's not about even it being on the right path anymore so much as like
You're on your path.
I'm on the path,
Your path.
and I'm on my personal path, and I just see so much beauty in it, and you know this, like I'm just such a nerd about it. I just love it. It brings me so much joy. This is all my heart yearns for every day, you know. Um, so yeah, that was a special moment, and that was also after the wedding that I went to. That was a main event for this trip.
We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, um, I was feeling a lot of things obviously after that wedding, and the temple was a cleanse for me. I felt spiritually cleansed walking away from it, and I really needed that because I think I started to feel weighed down by the energy of everything happening, which we can get into if you would like. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah, crazy, man. And I've been researching this guy. I'm trying to see, he's actually based out of San Diego, which is hilarious because for anyone who doesn't know, I don't think I shared this on the pod yet. I guess I'm manifesting this in some way by saying this right now, but I feel in long term San Diego is going to be my home. I don't know why. And when I saw this guy is in San Diego, I was like, you can't make this shit up.
It's too clean, bro. My sister's trying to end up there, so maybe I get cracked into there as well.
My guy. Let's make it happen. Let's take over. California, SoCal needs some of this like
Some soul.
light. It needs some soul. 100%.
Easy, bro. We'll come through. Hopefully this podcast keeps having resonance. We'll find some souls over there.
Legit. Because the weather there is unmatched.
Unmatched.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me about the wedding? Or you're gonna keep me in suspense?
Wedding was fine. I mean, did I share the whole like what happened on the
On
pod?
Wednesday? No, I don't think so.
Okay, just as a quick recap without getting into the gutsy details of this. the reason for this California trip was for an old friend of mine's wedding. And oops, let me just fix that. And yeah, I'll share this on the pod. Long story short is I was asked to be best man for this wedding, and then I decided about a month back that it doesn't feel right to me. Um, and I don't feel like getting into the reasons why, but it didn't feel right to me, and I wanted to honor that feeling because that's just the way I want to live these days. And it's not it's from a place of love, not resentment or anything like that. Like it was a loving choice, even though it's hurtful for the other person to hear, or it creates pain, I should say, for him to hear this. So, as you can imagine, with that context, going into a wedding and like I'm just part of the groomsmen's party now, and I'm not giving a speech anymore. The wedding, you can imagine, would be a little bit awkward, stressful, confusing, but it wasn't that bad. Like, to my friend's credit, like he took it with a lot of grace. And there wasn't any like weirdness. Like I don't think he was as like talkative with me as he could have been, but I understand, like I would be similar in his shoes. So, and the interesting thing was actually at the wedding. So the wedding was actually a pretty positive experience for me, I would say. I got to reconnect with a lot of my old friends, who I haven't seen in a while, some of which I haven't seen in over a year. And this is where I realized, like, I think I'm changing because I'm starting to notice this in people in really subtle ways. But every single person I talked to at the table I sat at was on
Deep
some
convo.
healing journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every single person was like, I could just feel in their energy. There's just like, even if they're not aware of it, there's like this optimism that things are trending in the right direction. And that's, for the record, just to timestamp this episode, this is in context of like Charlie Kirk stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
The whole world is kind of like, if you read the news every day, you'd be like, oh my God, the world's falling apart. Yet here I am sitting at a table with my friends and everyone's like healing. And you feel their lightness, especially me, who I'm very energetically sensitive. Compared to a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, it's undeniable. And it just flooded me with so much love because I was like, look at these people who are like, who I've seen struggle, coming out and like
Right.
embracing the messiness of life and just being and doing whatever it is that they feel is the right thing to do and not settling with like the status quo of how things are. And it just brought me so much joy. And every single time I noticed it in someone, I called it out. I was like, dude, look at that. Like, that's freaking incredible, you know? Like, that's freaking incredible. I don't know if anyone's told you that, but like, that's amazing. Um, and every single person I met that week, I hung out with, like, I'll be honest, like, I was pretty socially drained by the end of it because I spent all my
Of course.
time spending time with people. I need more me time these days, but every conversation, I could feel this in every single person. There was just like this, and this is how I know the world's going to be okay. Like these are the friends who I would consider like were struggling the most in their lives for some reason or the other, that I grew up with. Like I spent my time around people who were also thought they were broken because I thought I was broken. That's just how, that's just the nature of reality. We attract what we are. And now I see where they are on the other side. And not everybody, like there's some friends who are not, and that's okay. And I hope that in due time they will as well. But on the whole, like it was so beautiful, man. I'm like, even right now, I'm just so happy. It made me so happy to see.
Right.
Um, and something else that's happening, I'll share is, and I don't know what to make of this, but I'm getting to a place now where I can only talk like this with people. Like I can't, like one friend tried to have a normal conversation. She's one of my old coworkers at Amazon, and we had a phone call and I'm like, dude, I can't just like, you can't just give me the updates of what's happening and then that's the end of our conversation. Like that's how I used to connect with people. Like, what's happening in your life? Check, 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 check. Okay, what's happening in your life? Check, 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 and then hang up the phone. Like that's how my conversations were in the past. And I can't. Like
You're like, so how are you?
that's literally
So
what I said.
actually, how are you?
I was like, what's actually happening beneath the surface? Like, thanks for sharing. And then she was like, what do you mean? Right. And like that's a
Foreign.
friendship where I'm like, I don't know if I can like keep that friendship because we can't connect in that way. And then we had a conversation after the fact, and I think she started to understand what I was saying. But it's been interesting. I'm noticing because I have the contrast of who I am now versus who I was with these people in the past, like past version of me. And there's a clear difference where I don't feel like I can pretend.
Yeah.
I can't just talk to you so that we have some like illusion of connection and we're just passing time. Like there's something real in every single interaction that we can address if either of us has the courage to do that. And if that's not happening in a conversation with someone and I try, like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, I know what to do, which is like I bring it up, I name it. And then if there's still a lack of connection or lack of like understanding or whatever you want
Just
to call
leave.
it, I think I have to leave. So that was interesting. There's some friends where I was like, whoa, I can't really talk. I don't know what to talk about. There's some people I didn't even want to talk to and hit up at all because I was like, our friendship has only ever been on the surface level. So that's another development. It's been really interesting. I think our friendship has given me a reference of like what true friendship looks like, what it looks like to be real with one another. My friendship with Cam, my friendship with Elle, like these people, these other people in my life, like there's just like this clarity I feel. Um, and you guys invite that clarity into the present moment when we're with each other, and like that's the way I want to live. I feel alive. I feel whole. So I just wanted to name that because that was a really, really beautiful like realization, I guess. And the thing I want to give myself so much credit for here is it's not like I think I'm better than anyone else for this. Like I would say in the past, some part of me did take some like relishing and like, oh, I understand things better than someone else does, or I see reality more clearly, or whatever the heck. And now it's like, it's like, no, we're all just figuring it out the best we can, and that deserves love and compassion, and we're all equal.
And
It's
you're just
just,
honoring what you desire. Just
yeah,
honoring yourself.
yeah, and it's like
Both can be true at the same time.
both can be true, exactly.
Dude, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Did you ever end up getting the guy's email or something to keep up with, the monk?
So after after his talk, they do this really nice gesture where the speaker will go out and stand by the exit. So anyone exiting can just say thank you to him or whatever.
This
And
guy's fire.
I went up to him afterwards and I told him like, I can't explain to you the crazy amount of synchronicities and coincidences that have led me to be here right now, and I can't explain to you how I feel right now. But everything you just said, I felt on a soul level. Um, And I just said thank you to him like 5 times, like sincerely. I didn't ask for anything. I just wanted to express gratitude at that moment. He did have a Q&A he was going to do with everyone afterwards, but I had to go because I had to meet my friend for lunch. So something I'm like, why is the universe making it so hard for me to find somebody? But I do have his email. Like I looked it up online or like his profile. I'm going to reach out to the temple where he's based out of and just call them and see if he's willing to connect. Yeah. That's somebody I need. He was
Does
put
that
in my.
work? Do people do that? Like, can monks like just video chat with people?
So it's funny you ask because on the website where he's based out of, I saw that in the first week of September he did free spiritual mentoring for anybody who's interested. So I missed it because it's obviously now halfway through
But
September.
he's open to that stuff.
Yeah,
That's crazy, dog.
yeah.
That's
So
literally
that's
wow.
that's going to be one of my homework assignments this weekend. Is literally reach
Spiritual
the heck out to
mentor.
this person.
Yeah. Put your heart on on a page for a second.
I just feel full, man.
Hmm. That still blows my fucking mind. It's only been 3 months. uh, it's so
It's
ridiculous. 3 months, like years of your life, and then in 3 months, you can just see it clearly. It's like, what? It's all it takes is just a clean environment.
right. Yeah. And I wanted to share one thing about what you were sharing earlier about kind of your experience over the last week about um, you're just in this. You had a weekend last weekend of going out with with your buddy and hitting on girls and all this stuff, and then you realize, something feels a little bit odd about it. But there's also something I know there's a part of me that wants to be comfortable doing this. Like both can be true, right?
Mm.
Um, and I was just reflecting as you were speaking, like, how do I feel about it? And like, there's still something about it that's like, there's a resistance to it, you know? And I think when you named it that way, I was like, that's exactly what it is. It's like, I want the skill, I want the confidence in myself to be able to do it, but I don't necessarily need to do that all the time as a way of life, you know? Um,
Nor do I don't want to do it in settings or with people that I know I don't feel resonance with. That's the biggest one. Like if I see, like there was this beautiful girl at the coffee shop the other day, like just one of those that she's a little retro in her like outfit. She looks soft spoken, kind of just like sweet hair with a little bit of bangs. And we like made eye contact for a second, but she looked away immediately. So I was like, either has a boyfriend or she's nervous or she doesn't want to talk to me. But and so that's like a unique scenario. But I'm like, if I saw someone like her again and she didn't make eye contact, she didn't even know I was there. I want to just be able to like kind of just either lean forward or sit down for a second and just acknowledge her and just have that, even the opportunity, because this is the biggest thing. There are certain women, and every guy knows this feeling. There are certain women, and they don't have to be objectively the most beautiful human on earth, but in your eyes, you are so captivated. And you, as a man, just want to be able to have a chance that maybe you could actually connect with them. Maybe you actually, there's something about you guys. And if you were to end up with this person, you would win in life in a way that like your nervous system doesn't even know is possible. In the sense of like that girl, and maybe most of my friends wouldn't think she's all this or whatever, but like I would wake up like just in awe, just enthralled with her beauty. And there's obviously a level of like you don't lose yourself in that too much. But I think it's that captivating for a reason. It's like I want to know you so badly.
mm,
And it's like, why not have a little bit of like, hey, what's your name? I was like, I just noticed you. I've noticed you across the room, and I'm gonna leave in a second, but I had to come say hi. Like, why not? Like, why not, bro? Why not?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It's that voice, like, because I think that voice can be very lustful, of like, I want something out of this interaction, or it could be like curious of, what is this? This person is beautiful. Something about them is alluring to me. What is it? And then
mm,
you go in like the energy that you come into that conversation with, if you end up having that conversation, is going to be very different. Not to say one's better than the other, but like I do think there's one that's purer than the other.
yes,
And sometimes we have
intention
to
wise,
go, yeah, sometimes we kind of have to go through the lusty stuff to like realize like, it's kind of empty. And, you know,
absolutely.
there's one more thing I wanted to share around this idea of like what I learned at that talk.
Please,
So, and I should say, in honoring myself, it's not learning so much as reaffirming things I've suspected to be true. Um, so the whole talk was about, there's two there's two ways to realize the ultimate, realize the infinite nature of reality, whatever you want to call it. We talked about this before. One is through the path of the Bhakti, which is the path of the worshiper, the path of the man who connects, who's all about connection, or the woman. And then, yeah, yep. And
if that doesn't smear all over me.
well, that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I think it's so perfect. Like we literally illustrate this. That's one path. The other path, and it's a spectrum. It's not black or white. It's not one or the other. It's not binary. It's
Mhm.
a mix of both, but we have biases towards one direction. And then there's a path of like the Gyan yogi, which is translates to one who like seeks wisdom, who
Mm.
logically understands the nature of reality, and then through that understanding embodies it. Right. So I am very much the latter, where I am just always thinking about the nature of things, and then when I realize it, then it sinks into my body. You're someone who's like, you just love and you connect, and then that's what drives your actions in life, is like, how much connection do I feel? um and I'm trying to like balance that with, because it's a mix, right? I'm learning to balance that with the heart of like connection, because that's important to me too, and in whatever ways you are. I wanted to ask you, are you trying to come into the knowledge side of that at all, or are you completely
Mm,
okay being in the connection side of it?
good question. I think we are yin yangs, which is really good for both of us. You know, I've noticed, and this might be a byproduct of only having so much bandwidth. And so I've actively chosen to take on the stress of something like a new business that will take me to a certain, monetary goals and financial freedom and time. And so I like that's the thing that I give consistency and energy and stress towards, even still in this season of my life. But even things like spiritual practice, meditating consistently, reading the Gita, these are things that I notice they wax and wane in my motivation, my desire, what I'm willing to stress over. And I bring that up because it feels in line with this idea of like, frankly, I live as someone who's just fascinated by the muse, or the curiosity drives me in directions. I'm curious about, I want to be able to like be more, better at cold approach, go and try this, experiment this thing. Like I want to, but and when it comes to business in my life, I do it every day. I'm very consistent. Maybe not the hour of the day, but every day I'm very like, but then with my spiritual path, it's typically when I feel like I need an answer, that I don't understand something that's going on with me emotionally, or that's going on, and because of that, it's causing this disturbance in my heart. Then I'll stop, and I'm like, I need to go inward. I need to find answers. I gotta consume something that can be a mirror. I need to remember who I am in a reflection and in a meditation. Um, and then once I gain, like right now, the season I'm getting is like shame, guilt. Shame, guilt keeps coming up. I don't know yet why. And so I find this tug. That's what's driving me. The curiosity and also the desire to be whole is driving that, like, dis discovery to find the wisdom as to why. So
Oh, I love that. Okay, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Wow. So it sounds like it's more reactive. So it's like, okay, this is what's being asked of me. I'm not sure what
mm,
to do about it. Let me go figure it out. And
mhm.
then when you do, figuring out for you is like reading the Gita, which is, for anyone listening, it's like a Hindu uh spiritual text, ancient kind of text, or something else like the Bible back in the day, or anything else, right? Like even therapy would count as you're exploring. So that's kind of those are the modalities through which you explore. And then
Mhm.
once that question gets answered,
I go play again in the playground.
I love it, man.
I'm just this like big old kid who just loves to like run around free. And then
Yeah.
when there's something in the playground, or like a bomb went off and I need to rebuild the playground properly, then I get into like the engineering mode, and I'm like, all right, let's figure this out.
Yeah. I've been. It's really funny you use the word play, because I've been in this season, or the most
My favorite.
overword used on the To Be Alive podcast. Everybody.
No, I love it. I love it. It needs to be used more, bro.
But over the last week, I want to say week and a half, this word of this idea of play has been marinating a lot. Um, I'm gonna get real like out there for a second.
Go
In
all out.
in most Hindu like philosophy or like yogic philosophy, for anyone who gets this, Hinduism isn't actually a religion. The religion is called Sanatan Dharma. That's like the philosophy, the framework, I guess. Hinduism isn't a religion the way like Christianity is a religion. There isn't like a set way to approach it. It's very open. Hinduism is very much choose your own adventure. So just I wanted to put that out there. In the Gita and in most of the philosophical texts, there's this idea of what's called Lila. And I may have shared this with you before, I'm not sure, but it's been in my mind recently, this idea of Lila. That's Lila. And Lila is this nature of the divine, of creation, that is play. So I just wrote a tweet. I think it was a banger tweet. I wrote, I wrote, just as a rose has the scent of rose, creation has the scent of play. Right? So like this world, this reality, it's meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to have fun. It's meant. My boy gassing me up. Straight up, like whenever we get too serious about something, whenever we're too caught up, like it's just a nice little nudge and a reminder that like this is all supposed to be play. It is play. And if we're not seeing it as play, that's just, we're not seeing clearly enough. And this applies to every single person in listening to this podcast. Like, I know life might be hard right now in whatever ways it is, but I promise you this is true. This is like the nature of reality. And, you know, take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Maybe it's something you come to realize on your own. But this has been really, really big for me recently. And because I realize I love play in my own ways. And everyone has a different way of playing with life. So first of all, I just wanted to share that. I think that was an interesting like tangent to what you were saying. But I also want to ask you, what is play for you?
Oh, dude, now you're asking me the question I wanted to talk about.
Let's go.
I love this shit, bro. This is it. You know, I had 2 moments this week where I get into mini ruts. Like I can have a rut within like 24 hours. It's hilarious. Like literally, it's so funny. Like I could have the best day of my life. It would seemingly. So I like stopped doing the thing where I'm like, this is the best day ever. And then the next day I say the same thing. But I can. But the funniest part is I believe it both times. Like they're both true. Like, like I don't. In both instances, I'm like, what more could I ever want? But like I woke up for some reason on Monday or Tuesday, and there was something I was like stressing about, things I needed to get done. I was in my bed, I was just ruminating, and I just remember this nudge that was like, go outside, put on your running shoes and go outside. Do not think at all about turn off this alarm. That was for the concert. Go outside, just go. Like the pressure, the stress about life was like, I'm in my bed and it's like just weighing on me. And then I was like, okay. So I get my running shoes, I start walking, I see the sunshine, I start running. I see like people in the neighborhood. I end up going to Barton. And then this morning I was also feeling lonely. A common theme I've been finding, and there's something, maybe I won't talk about this in this pod, but there's something bigger there that I've been finally like been able to see. And I get to Barton, there's a guy out the front. We end up having a hour-long combo, super soul-filling. I'm like, what's your dream? I end up like asking this man at some point in there, I'm like, what's your dream in life? He's like, wants to start this business. I'm giving him his advice. He's like, it's a great idea. I'm like, bro, here's my number. He's like, can I text you when I have questions? I was like, bro, I love this stuff. I go and I sit down. I see this cute girl, and I'm sitting like nearby her. At some point, we like lock eyes, and I was like, how come you get to be here on a Tuesday morning? And she's like, makes a joke. She's like, everyone in Austin like does weird stuff, and she ends up being a flight attendant. She's like, I come here every morning so I can feel like myself. And
Wow.
And she's like, I meditate for 20 minutes. She has her headphones on. And then she just sits, and then she swims. And then sometimes her sister's there. They'll have conversations, and then they'll go. And she's like, I feel like myself. And I was like, man, I'm so inspired by that. I feel the same way today. And then so I was like, you know what? And she's like, I come every day. So I came back the next day. And mind you, this whole like I came back so peaceful, so clear. I got everything I needed to get done so efficiently that it was 3 p.m. and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. And I was like, I was stressed out. And then I just did all these things and I was fun and it was playful and I talked to strangers and full of life. I go back the next day. I wake up. This time I set the intention to leave immediately instead of just sitting there. Left, went running to Barton. I'm about to get there and I see a group of people playing soccer. And this is what I want you to know about me. I never thought to do any of these things. Like the only thing was the first thing, go running, go leave the house. And then I just like a kid just followed these like little things that were happening. I just felt this intuition when I was talking to the guy, ask him what his dream is. Much kind of deep. This girl, Andres, just say hello. Ask her what she's doing here. I'm like, bro. And I just do it. That's my play. I'm dancing with the world. I'm literally just like I'm just poking at the world and then seeing what happens. So I see this group playing soccer and immediately it was like, go up and ask them how often they play and if they're gonna be here. And before I can even ask the question, they're like, yo, we need another player. Come on. And I was like, oh no, bro, I can't. All right, I'm in. And I ended up scoring. I was the top goal scorer in this like freaking 7 a.m. like game. And I had the time of my life. And I was just smiling from ear to ear. I'm like, it's 8 a.m. or like 7:30. Everyone's working and I'm just being a kid. And I'm scoring, I'm smiling. And then I go in, I see the girl, I like talk to her sister, and I swam in Barton. And then I walked and then I did my work. And I was like, this is play. And even the work that I'm doing, I noticed I was pressing myself to go harder than I needed to, unreasonably. And I was like, it doesn't feel like play now. And if I just do it at a reasonable amount, I make more than enough money and it feels like play. And so I just want to optimize my whole day for play. Like, that's it. That's my answer, bro. I just living, bro. Just living. I'm like, I feel like I'm semi-retired already. It's ridiculous. It's like, yeah.
Dude, I can't smile any bigger right now. Wow.
It's just one big freaking flow. Like I'm just a kid in a playground the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what I want to connect. I'm so happy you shared it that way you just shared it, because that is it. That's what all these texts are talking about. Like we get so caught up in reading the words. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? How do I do it? Well, give me the steps, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right.
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. I never thought I was gonna be used as the example of what the texts are saying, bro. I'm so dead.
Dude, I'm not even just saying that to be funny. I swear. Like that's it.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. That's it.
I never feel more alive than when I'm listening to this muse, and I'm just feel so alive.
Man,
And I know exactly when I'm losing myself. I'll sit in my apartment and I have this slowly becoming visceral feeling in my stomach of like, I'm really not supposed to be here anymore. And I start to like have this weird rumination, or I'll have this like tension and I'm like, what? And then I'm literally feeling like, go on a walk. You already finished your work. What are you spinning the wheels for? What are you still working on? And I'm like, yeah, stay hard, bro. Like lock in, like, come on. Like you could do a couple more leads. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go. And the moment I listen to it, I become alive again. It's like the muse I turn back on.
Question, because I think people listening, and I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of people listening to this. When you decide to not find that next lead and you listen to that voice, does that voice linger of like, oh, I should have been like, maybe I should have stayed back and worked on that lead or whatever. Maybe I should have done the thing that I'm now doing something else instead of. Like, does that voice ever cross when you're in that state?
In a very specific reason, it does. And when this reason is not there, it doesn't happen to me. I can be in play and in flow when I'm working. And it's if there's no friction or there's a proper amount of friction. So for example, right now, the guy I'm working with insurance like thinks that we're all set up right now to like, for me to take all these leads and just crank the ad spend, just start dialing, right? But I can't even send the automated texts out because my automated texts are not set up yet, and I'm waiting for the tech team to do it. I can't even use this AI dialer that like automatically schedules appointments onto my calendar. And so if I crank the ad spend, I'm like a squirrel chasing in this chaos versus if I just wait 3 days, then everything's going to be set up. The text will be set out on its own. I won't have to be doing things manually. Then the AI will call the person the moment they enter in the lead. The AI will call them or my assistant and be like, "Hey, I just saw you checked on our ad. Just wanted to see if you had any questions. If you're available right now, we can transfer you over to Andres, and it'll give me a call. And if I can't answer, it'll just be like, perfect. Are you available tomorrow 9 a.m.? Amazing. He's gonna give you a call then. Boom, on my calendar. I get to stay in flow. I can crank the leads like crazy. It's gonna fill naturally, and there's no friction to that. And so I can probably work until 5 p.m. and I'll lock in and I'll be in flow when that system is set up, and it'll happen on Monday versus half-assed like doing all these things manually, living in this chaos. I'm like, I don't really need to do this. There's no need for the money right now. Then I'm just gonna go to Barton, and that's the difference. Is that if there's a piece in knowing that if you just spend a little bit, if you just stop right now, things are either going to be exactly the same or improved the next time I show up to the work setting, then I'm supposed to leave early. Leaving early is actually for me. But if it's like, no, I need to put something in place, send a little thing forward, so that when I come back to the computer the next day, now I'm going to be in a better spot. And you can make the decision of like, put in the extra hour or two. It's actually going to help
Mm.
you. Tomorrow's going to be a smoother day. And that's like an intuition of like, this is the right next step. And it might be a little bit more painful. I wanted to go outside, but you can make the choice consciously.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So it's more of like what's actually happening? What's the logical like decisions happening underneath the surface? Let me look at that and examine it, and if it's checks out, fine. I'm gonna not even just fine, like cool, like let's continue doing what we're doing. But if there's something that's about it that's not calculating well, we're like, oh, if I end up staying right now and working on this last lead, I'm not really going to feel better. It's not actually helping a future version of myself. And so there's no guilt. There's no shame that you're carrying when you get up out of the coffee shop to go for your run, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Like this gets into like the metacognition, like the
Yes.
cognition beneath the cognition of like what's actually driving our decision making. And I struggle with this. Like I still haven't figured out with work in particular. Like this work I'm doing feels like my mission this life. I'll just say that here. Like this is what I'm here to do. But part of the process for me is figuring out how to get to the place where like I'm flowing with work the way you're describing. So first of all, thank you for being a model to help me understand. Um, like right now I get caught with the stories of like, oh, if I don't do this, and I'm going to be seen. And the difference is you're your own business. You're self-employed. Like you don't have a boss per se. I technically have some managers, but like it's not really the way you might imagine. But there's still like this conditioning, this programming I have of like I have to do good work to get their approval. That's the way I was taught in corporate America. And the more I talk to them, the more they're like, dude, we want you to be you, and we want you to work. If that means you just want to go for a walk and do nothing today, that's what's best for the business because it's best for you.
Because they have this insane amount of trust that if you become you, then the business will become what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Because they signed you on because you're someone who has a mission. And so if you follow what you're supposed to do, your mission will unfold properly.
Exactly. And even when it's not unfolding properly, it's unfolding properly. Right. So I just talked to Elle before this call, and this is fresh in my mind of like, whoa, this is so true. And this is like relevant. And it's, again, just for me, it's like observing and being aware of like what's going on underneath the surface when I'm sitting down at the coffee shop, opening my laptop, and I'm feeling a pit in my chest about the work I'm about to do. Like, what is actually being asked of me right now? Am I supposed to be home laying on my couch just chilling? Because if that's the case, that's what I should be doing. Should I be going talking to that girl next to me? Probably that's what I should be doing. You know what I mean? Like just listening to that whisper. So anyway, thanks for
I
sharing.
will
Yeah.
I will say one last caveat. The most mentioned, this is from a YouTube short, not my quote, but it's legit. The most quoted thing in every spiritual text is "do not fear." And I will say there's one caveat to that gut feeling, because I've gotten the like pit in my stomach of like I have to make these calls, and cold calling is never fun. And sometimes like I should go running is an excuse for me not to just face the thing I'm fearing. And I will say the way that I can discern it is I just take the action, do the courageous thing, just start dialing. And then I get over the fear, and then I can look at it logically and be like, do I need to continue to do this after the 15th, 16th person or whatever? Um, that's when I feel like I'm clear. Sometimes I have to start the action to know if I'm supposed to be continuing later, instead of just letting myself have a cop out.
I love it. That's an important caveat.
It
Legit.
is, yes. Or else you can get too lost in the like, I never want to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Well, you and I got to run to a concert. This is one of my favorite episodes I think we've done. I felt very here the entire time.
Bro, I felt you. And it
Oh,
felt me. Keep
let's
going.
go. The one thing I wanted to just quick announcement I wanted to share, and we could talk about this afterwards, but just I want to put on the pod for my own accountability and manifestation is I'm almost at a point, like maybe just in the very near future, where I want to start bringing on additional guests on this podcast, but this series is not changing.
Fire.
Like if that's okay with you, I want to keep this going as long as it feels good for us, and it feels great for me right now. So, but in addition, on other days in the week, I'll probably have conversations with some folks, and I think I'm ready to start growing this more. And I want to talk to you about like clips, and so I want to start like thinking about social media, like how to actually grow, because I think we have a lot of fire sound bites that we can just clip out. So we'll talk about those details afterwards. But
Roses smell like roses, and
you don't need to follow me on Twitter if you're
Earth
not
is the
following me on Twitter.
Yeah, for real. Follow this guy, dude. He's a menace.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. Episode 10. Happy you're here. And as usual, stay kind, and we'll see you next week. Much love. Peace.